Hello everyone, I'm really excited today because as of now, my game that I've been working on for 3 days is technically finished, or as close as you can get. So allow me to real quick zoom in on it. There we go. Because the size is a little small, unfortunately. I'll have to figure that out. But anyways, I actually really didn't think that I could finish it. 3 days was just this arbitrary thing that I set up for myself to challenge myself and pressure me, but oh, that's unlucky, but I actually did, which is really surprising to me. That's two 5% chances in a row, which is just really, surprising to me, actually. So basically, right now it's kind of in its demo form. So all the basic gameplay is here, although the shop is not implemented, and there's actually a valid way to beat the game. So you have quests and splash text, a bit of flavor here and there, and also stat upgrades, and a bit of balancing. I'm not gonna say how good it is, but it's present. You also have rigged odds. This is semi-intentional, and semi-non-intentional, but the rigged odds do fit with the spirit of the game. So if you'll check out Design Zero, it was inspired by the game Don't Get Fired, but instead of parodying, the Korean work environment, it's parodying just power fantasy animes in general, and how the protagonist just manages to power creep everyone and everything. Because if you'll notice, everyone who has their life's work upturned and surpassed by the protagonist, either just doesn't seem to mind because they're the side character, or is in total douchebag, and there's a reason for that. So it's also semi-satirizing gacha mechanics, although it's not fully implemented. Yeah, this is the game. It's kind of set up to be a rage game, and it is going to be so. Also, this is actually faster than normal progress because, in this code here, I'll quickly jump out of frame for a bit. Oh, wait, no. In the code, because I actually can't show it, but in the code I have the dexterity set to the stat of 100 instead of the initial stat of 1. So things are actually going a lot faster. Probably, I'd estimate 10 times as fast. Oh, I ran out of money. Oh dear. Oh yeah. Right. Okay, I may or may not have forgotten to patch that out. In that, if you die in debt, apparently the debt follows you after you revive, and you're stuck in an eternal cycle of having your organs harvested. Honestly, that is probably a realistic outcome, because if they find you and catch you, you're not going free. But for the sake of the game, I need to fix that. Where did I put it? Here it is. Admire my spaghetti code. Where is it? Oh God, where did I put it? Okay, did I put it somewhere else? Oh wait, what? Where did I put it? Don't tell me a lot. What? Okay, no, I did not forget where I put my code, That is something that I would never do. That is impossible. My code is... Oh, here it is. There we go. As I was saying, it's a game. Later on, I'm gonna be adding more RNG and rage features, as well as the decision system that you see in Don't Get Fired, and an inventory system too, for some items, but the main point of the game is that it's slightly unbalanced. It's not meant to be fair. It's meant to be an experience. Let me spec into that. But anyways, for now, the game ends when you reach S rank, I'm planning more content as well as the ability to delegate quests once you hit C rank. And for sheer playability of the game, I've made the questing speed and also the rate at which quests spawn much faster. For your viewing enjoyment because I'm a very nice person. Anyways, at the start, one strat that I've basically figured out is that you kind of do want to spec into health and regen because the damage of quests scales pretty fast now. I'm just going to clear that. It's a little cluttered. So you really just want to stay ahead. Aside from that, I should probably actually add a UI showing when you have spare points. And ooh, I ranked up. Oh dear. But aside from that, after that, what you want to do is probably invest in your strength. Now, another fun thing is that by dying, you can actually increase the rewards you get. I'm not too sure if that's a strategy to try and die as fast as possible, but after you get like a decent amount of health, you just really want to invest in strength because that's the main contributing factor to you getting quest successes. I'll probably rebalance stuff and also fix UI overlap issues, but for now, this is actually working pretty well. And I think I'm set to get to E rank soon. Let me clear that. And I will assure you that the quest stacking issue actually won't come up that often in real gameplay, just due to the fact that the quests are spawning slower. Aside from this, though, another thing that I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep trying to climb up the ranks. Oh yeah, I'm also gonna add mana. So funny, a little feature I added here is that when you go back to the tavern, you automatically spend some gold to get yourself a drink. The cost in HP regenerated does scale with your health because obviously you have a better liver, you can drink more. Yeah, let's keep on going into stats because this one I think scales by 0.9, while dexterity only scales by 0.35. Intelligence, I actually have no idea. I forgot what I put. Oh, that's messy. Oh, we're at E rank now. That's not bad. The game for now ends when you're at S rank. I have yet to actually test out the ending, but should work for the most part. Oh dear. And as you can see, you can actually demote it if you fail too much. Anyway, yeah, I am gonna be adding the shop functionality soon. So you can actually buy armor there and not get yourself killed, which reduces the amount of damage you take. I should really upgrade my health. And honestly here, I'm actually considering whether or not it would have been more optimal to die more at the start because, dying is your main source of wisdom, although and dying from different sources should give you more wisdom. It's experience, but wisdom also increases your rates of getting gold and experience, so actually sometimes it might be better to die at the start more. But you rest assured you most certainly will die more at the start in the actual game, because the dexterity is multiplied by 0.35 and you start out with 100, right? Well, I'm starting out with 100, which means that when you see these probabilities, this 52, you can just subtract 35 from that, and that's the chances you'd be having right now, which is neat. Aside from that, there's actually hidden quest stuff, so you have the rank and the level being randomly generated, and all of that just impacts your rewards and your experience and whatnot. Very fun hidden systems and a bunch of math. Okay. Also, a lot of handcrafted failure messages. I'd really like to add more if I have time. But also, later to come is going to be cutscenes. Animated, either in MS Paint, or if I manage to figure out how to use Godot, that. Or Canva, actually. I have no idea. MS Paint, probably. And lore. How you actually manage to get yourself isekai to this place. the Pretty Boy Mage NPC. I really can't wait to add that one. Aside from that, you're also gonna have a forge over here, and this I'm gonna keep this a secret, although it is in the design documents. So, and probably tomorrow, or actually when I get home, since it's 6:40 a.m. I'm going to. I failed 2 times in a row. I'm going to actually figure out a way to export this to itch.io and post it. So, because I'd really appreciate it if you have balancing tips. Ignore the gold growth rate. I'll fix that soon. If you have any balancing tips or suggestions or just even ideas for the game. Oh, and especially bugs too. We are very close to leveling up, so I should really invest. Oh yeah, right. And also a feature that I just remembered to add is that your charisma should really impact the chances of you getting a raise. Oh. Why did I even forget to add that in the first place? As you can see, the game needs a lot more polish. Let me see if I can just patch this in. There we go. And then you just add the square root of your charisma. That's a little unfair. I'm just gonna add your charisma. There we go. That's for later, though. For now, I need to just keep on grinding some quests. I'll take as many as I can. Unfortunately, your quest queue is cleared if you ever die, so might as well. Oh, another level. I think I'll invest more into HP regen and max HP. The button hitbox is a little weird, but ignore that. Anyways, I presume that if I keep on... Oh, what just happened? Oh wait, I got to B rank. I screwed up the X and Y values for getting to B rank. I should probably check that. Where did I put that? Oh, here it is. I screwed that up, but I did actually get to B rank when I wasn't paying attention, which is really good. I probably have some spare points that I'm going to invest in my strength. We're almost there, only a couple more failures and rages. And of course, naturally, I'm going to put the devlog at the end. Anyways, there are a few things I've gained from this, and one is that, surprisingly, this is, I don't know if I said this before, I have a terrible memory, but this is the first full game that I've ever made. So, come on. As I was saying, the first full game that I got demoted. That I've ever made. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. It's the first full game that I've ever made. Even though I have used, say, Scratch and Python in the past, those actually didn't even count as full games, more prototypes and demos. So I'm really proud of myself for managing to grit my teeth and start using Godot. In addition, one thing that I've realized is one reason that I didn't start this earlier, or start using Godot in general, was because the UI actually kind of scared me, since it's hard getting used to all of the features. And when I start to follow tutorials, I get bogged up and confused and just blank out. So instead, just, I don't know, it's really useful if you know how to code, but instead of following tutorials first, think of a simple game idea you want to make. It's okay if you complicate it slightly, but for the most part, it's simple. In addition, if you're not an artist, and even if you are, just try to simplify the game art as much as you can, and start making it. If you have, you don't really need to know game design, but think about this. You have a lot of interdependent systems, right? I have the questing system and the rank system and stats, etc. So, and build it from the ground up. So the first thing I did here was create the background, create the backdrop, and it was only one. I didn't even add the player character, but it was because you really do need something to look at. And after that, I started adding the stats. So this is really easy to display because all you have is your init code. I'm not too sure if you can see this, and just define variables and add stat bars, because that's one thing that doesn't need anything else to do. After that, I'm pretty sure, after doing all the icons, what I did was I added the bottom tabs. No, they actually didn't work, and now this bar still doesn't work. because I haven't added that, but just add them and make them look there. Also, I just realized that these aren't aligned. I need to fix that soon. But do that, as I was saying. And I added this button to bring up the quest menu. I didn't add spawning quests. I just said, okay, if you hit this, it opens. And I also didn't have this button. I added this in as a hotfix because things were getting cluttered too quickly. And if you exit out, it disappears. So, and that wasn't actually too hard to do. And one other thing is that you can use AI, but not in the way that most people do. Because AI is good at making things, but it's terrible at making the things you want to do. So you really shouldn't vibe code, especially if it's your first time, because to even use, like, as the corporates tell you to use AI efficiently, you still have to know and be able to understand the code and understand what it's trying to do. And only then can you use AI, even though you probably shouldn't. Oh, I leveled up. But it's really handy to see some basic functions. So for example, okay, I want a button here. Alright, so how do I add that? And okay, I need the button to code to show this menu. So how do I add that? And oh, okay. Instead of looking all the way through documentaries, which documentation, which although sometimes it's good, it's a little confusing. You can just ask AI to see. Oh, so it's func underscore pressed. And then, basically, once you start easing yourself into it, and also getting past the UI and R, which I think is the hardest step, you can actually just start using the knowledge that you've gained in an admittedly short period of time to start working, do whatever you want. So after this, I added quest spawning system. So this was actually difficult. Another funny story is that I started using gdevelop first. But I'll talk about that later. So start adding the quest spawning system, and instead of making it show up and making it clickable at first, get the stats done. Get the background UI calculations. You say, okay, what's the chance of you winning and failing? You don't really need to balance it, but do something that makes sense just to you. And just don't think about it too much unless if it gets really bad. Then add a random spawning system. So basically I have it wait during a random period of time, although I've set it to exactly 5 seconds for the purpose of demonstration. And then I worked on that. I added it to display all the stats, which is really important. The UI is still a bit janky, but and then I started from easy things. I added the deny button, which is easy because all you do is freak queue free, and then this quest is gone. And then I started working on the accept, which sets a timer and waits until the quest is up. And also sometimes, even if you have the tool that Godot supplies you with, so for example, Godot does give you the timer function node, and while this may be rather useful, I actually didn't use it because I wasn't familiar with it, and I thought it was a little redundant. So instead what I did was just set a variable to add the frame of time every time process happened. So every frame it would add a little, and then when it passed a certain time, the quest would finish. Oh dear. Well, oh, and we're almost actually there. Never mind. As I was saying, we're almost there, to be fair. We're back at rank D, but we're very close to climbing up the top. That does remind me to update the stats somewhere, because it looks like I didn't do things very well. I forgot to add the positioning for... What am I doing? Okay, I screwed up somewhere. Theoretically, E, D, and C. Well, if I just move this a little... What? Oh, I closed it. Oh, I'm sorry if you can't see this well. Okay. It looks like I messed up the positioning a little, but it still should be fine for the most part. What? So, if you'll just bear with me for a little. As you can see, we're very close to ranking up here and finishing this game once and for all. The damage scaling is a little scary, so you really want to make sure that you don't waste all your XP points. However, it's impossible to softlock yourself, though, since your chances are going to be constantly increasing thanks to wisdom turning death into failure, and then you get experience even from failing, so you're never going to get stopped anywhere. It's just going to become a rather big of a grind. And that's it. Yeah, as we're talking about building systems, so after I got the quest system working and roughly balanced and them spawning, I started adding just menus so you can change your background. And after that, I added this person and the ability for the background to change and his position to change based on where you are at different tables. So, oh, okay, I see the issue. This one should still be 420. And then it looks like the positioning is all wrong, but it's fine. As I was saying, we're now at rank B and pretty close to succeeding. And after that, you have the display. I added the little Q animation, and I started working on the inventory because this is the main thing you need to progress. And it was a little painful because initially I thought it was less than it was, and I tried to be lazy and I didn't use Godot's node system here. I didn't create a separate stat icon, and instead I was about to initially define every single one of them and add every single one's unique code, until I realized that that wasn't a very good idea. So I changed things, I grit my teeth and refactored everything, and now it works well. It's pretty efficient. Even if it's not the best optimized, but it works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Aside from that, I have a little story to tell. So one thing, I have this game design document here, of course, but initially I was trying to be lazy and I started developing this game in GDevelop. And I thought, since the scale of this game is admittedly rather small, it would be fine. I do it. It would be nice content, a learning experience, because I've never used GDevelop before, and it looks so easy. The UI looks very friendly. It's very easy to add, until I realized, since I did know a little bit of Godot before, even though I gave up, how good Godot was. Like, you really need to just start using a very crappy engine to appreciate how good these engines are. Frankly, not to, demean GDevelop, because I get the point. It's meant to be newbie friendly. Oh, how have I still not won? It's meant to be newbie friendly, but the problem is that it arguably has worse organization than Scratch, because all of its if events are just packed into here. Where is it? All of its events are packed into here. You have no sort of organization, and you don't even have for loops, which is just arguably, well, I guess you could implement for loops, you can do anything, but it's arguably just annoying to deal with. So really, just dip your toes in the water. Godot is still a lot more user-friendly than Unreal Engine, and plus it's used for making 2D games, which you should probably start out with, since even pixel art is a huge time sink if you don't have that many good assets, although I did make all of these assets on my own, aside from the background table, which I used at Talsa, and the player. But making 3D models is a big time sink. But anyways, yeah, that's basically my advice, everything I've gained, and I really do want to give up on this right now, which I will, so I'll just show you guys the ending. I'm very sorry, I can't do this anymore. If you'll just spare me, I'm gonna change the rank directly to S, and this should be rank 6, and let's see it. Hooray, I won. This is bad formatting. So, thank you. Really. That's, I forgot to make it unshow, but that's actually what it does. So, thank you for watching this video. As always, I'm going to put the devlog in the back, and bye.